Hi Cadet Girl Scouts, today we're going to be working on our screenwriter badge, and I am going to walk you through 3 of the steps of this badge to help you develop your story. So we are going to start by coming up with some story ideas. So a very simple way to do this is to think of a character and a situation. So I'm going to show you one way you can start setting up your ideas. All right, so you will need a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. You can also grab an index card or just open up a page in a notebook. And what you're going to do is you're just going to create a 2-column chart. So I've done that here. So I have one column with the characters that I would put in it, and then the other column with different situations. So I'm going to start by filling this in. So my character might be a Girl Scout. And the situation might be going on a hike. Another character could be a storm chaser. So someone who likes to watch the weather and goes out chasing thunderstorms or tornadoes. That could be a potentially very interesting story. But we could put them in a situation where they're stuck in quarantine. So I would challenge you to come up with at least 3 or any number more characters and situations that you might want to write about. So once you have gone through and thought about your characters and your settings and situations that they might be in, you might now have a story idea already in your head. So the next step is going to be character development. We need to make sure our characters are really interesting people. All right, so I am going to go with the story of a Girl Scout going on a hike. Now, for this story, there'll be more than one character, but sometimes you might have a story where there really is only one character. But for mine, I'm going to start looking at the 3 main characters. So we have one of our girls whose name is Susie, her friend who's going on her hike with her, whose name is Sally, and their leader, whose name is Diana. So now we want to think about what are their characteristics and what do they want? There needs to be a motive for the people in the story. They need to have wants and fears in order for the story to develop in an interesting way. So Susie might be wanting to go on a hike to see a waterfall. And Sally may be wanting to go on a hike to see a wild animal. And the leader, Diana, might be wanting to go on a hike to overcome her fear of the outdoors. So as you start thinking about their different characteristics or wants, you can always think about people you know in your own life or characters you've seen in other movies or shows. So we can start to think about what are some characteristics. So for Susie, she might be adventurous. She might be funny. And she might be clumsy. We can now start to think about what are some characteristics for Sally. She might be nervous. She might be a slow walker. These are all things that you can start to think about. It can be their personality or it can be a physical characteristic trait. All of this will start to play in to your story. All right, so what I did is I just started writing these things down on a piece of paper into little columns. So we have Susie and Sally and Diana with their characteristics below them. It's really important to have a lot of characteristics and know your characters well because it's their personality that's really going to be telling the story. And by having a lot of characteristics, you'll be able to develop a story a lot easier. You won't be looking for different ways to tell the story because their characteristics will shine through and help lead you to developing a really cool story. All right, so now we're going to start talking about building the plot. So the plot is the whole main story that you're going to be telling. It's going to start with an introduction. There's going to be events leading up. There'll be a climax and then there'll be a resolution. So you're going to just draw what they call a simple plot line. So you start down here. This is where your introduction will be. and then it goes up to the climax of the story, and then it goes down to the resolution. Now, if you wanted to write a whole movie, you might have mini plots throughout the movie as it takes part of the whole major plot. But we can think about this just as one scene of the movie that you want to write. So our introduction typically will introduce the characters and the situation. So we're going to use our sheet that we had before with our characters and their characteristics on it, and use that to help us come up with a fun plot.
All right, so I just wanted to get you guys a closer look at what a plot line or a storyline looks like. So we do start off down here with the background information. So I just wrote, a clumsy adventurous Susie wants to go on a hike, but her friend is nervous. So then we're going to start to think about the kickoff to the incident. This might be them arriving at the trailhead. The lead up to the incident might be them saying they're hungry and they want to stop for lunch. The climax might be they're eating lunch and then a deer walks up to them and they're very scared. And then the resolution might be that they leave the picnic area with all of their stuff that they brought and they head back down the trail in a safe way. It could be anything that you girls want to come up with. We're just looking for there to be some type of big event and then for it to be resolved at the end. And typically in a story, the characters change or develop new characteristics throughout the story. So in the story, Sally was very nervous, but maybe after the climax and into the resolution, since she has overcome her fear of hiking and maybe she isn't as nervous anymore and she's really excited. It could be any number of things. All right, so just to review everything we talked about today, when you're making your story, you're going to want to come up with some characters and some situations just to help you brainstorm. And then you're going to want to think about the different characters in the story and come up with lots of different characteristics and traits. And then you're going to want to make your plot line, your storyline, and think about what is the story all about? How do people change over time? What is the resolution to the problem? And once you've done all of this, you can start writing.
I hope that was helpful for you girls to start to think about how to write your screenplay. I would love to see some of the stories that you guys come up with. You're going to want to write 12 pages of a script, and we would love if you shared it with us. And if you're really ambitious, you can even film maybe one of the scenes. Be sure to share it with GCWM so we can see the great things you guys are working on. Thank you, and I'll see you guys later.